Lab Addicts Music Group. Lab Addicts Music Group. Lab Addicts Music Group.
What's goody? What's goody?
Lab
What's
Addicts Music Group.
it's your boy Maas Appeal. I haven't seen y'all since Thursday. And you have to excuse the thumbnail. It says Monday, but I had to push yesterday's show to tonight because what a lot of people don't know is during the day, I have a government contracting company. And it's been my goal to try to submit to 20 contracts in 1 month. I haven't reached that yet. But this month has been my best month for submitting my government contracts. And yesterday, an hour before the show, I basically received a quote for services on the contract that I was submitting for. Now, I was supposed to receive the quote about 5 days ago, but when you're doing government contracting and you're working with companies to get quotes, sometimes you get information at the last minute. And that's what happened. The bid is due tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time, and I submitted the bid about 3 hours ago. And this is today, the bid that I submitted today was my sixth bid that I've submitted this month. And I have 5 more bids that I'm working on now that I should have completed before July 1st. And I've already gone through the contracts for July that I want to work on. And I think I got 22. So that's the reason I didn't have the show last night. But I'm here tonight. Before we go any further, we got to give thanks to the Most High for allowing us to see another day, see another sunrise, see another sunset, and to love on the people that we love. Now, with that being said, the last 4 days has been very, very eventful. Israel bombed Iran. Iran bombed Israel. Now Trump is talking about if America's going to join this fight in some form or fashion. Are we going to war? Is this the beginnings of World War III? As well, the clips. The clips. Real hip hop. They done released 2 songs in the last 4 days, and I can't wait till the album comes out. If you like real hip hop, you need to listen to the clips. But tonight we're gonna talk about black fatigue. Black fatigue. Is black fatigue a thing? Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. So the term black fatigue was coined and defined by Mary Frances Winters. What's going on, Jug? What's going on, YWG? Shouts out to everybody watching on Instagram. Shouts out to everybody watching on X. Shouts out to everybody watching on Rumble. As well, shouts out to everybody watching on Facebook. And without a doubt, shouts out to everybody watching on YouTube, the MA family, and all the new people that's joining in. Hit the like button on your way in. Hit the like button. Mary Frances Winters wrote a book entitled Black Fatigue. And basically, she defined the term black fatigue as repeated variations of stress that result in extreme exhaustion and cause mental, physical, and spiritual maladies passed down from generation to generation. This phrase encompasses black people's collective fatigue. Now, what made me really take notice and to really want to talk about this is because the American Heart Association also has articles about black fatigue. I got 2 of me in here. Why understanding, and basically the American Heart Association wrote an article back in 2022, and they basically said their article is entitled Understanding Black Fatigue and How to Overcome It. Now, what's important about the fact that the American Heart Association wrote about black fatigue is heart ailments, stress, hypertension, high blood pressure. These are all compromising situations that are characteristic of lots of black people. Diabetes, things of this nature. So, do we believe in black fatigue? Are you fatigued as black people? Are we fatigued? Are we exhausted by the fact that there are things that all generations of black people have endured? Well, I can't really talk about the current generation, but I think that any black person that's over 25 Nah, any black person that's over 20 has experienced some form of racism. Would I be correct in saying that? Something's reverbing, but okay, there we go. Hold on. Is it this microphone? Yeah, let's cut this microphone down. Okay, okay. I think that 90%, I'll even go higher than 90% of black people in America have experienced some form of racism. And some of us have experienced lots of racism. Is that safe to say? Is it safe to say that over 95% of black people in America have experienced some form of racism? Yeah, I ain't calling them. Yeah, young people. Yeah, from 21 down. Some of this generation that's behind us haven't experienced overt racism, so they don't think that there's racism. But a lot of us have experienced racism in the workplace. We've experienced racism in home buying. We've experienced racism when we spend our money. We've experienced racism from police. We've experienced racism from lots of people, lots of different groups of people. Has racism to you, has racism had an effect on you that you're fatigued? YWG said his son is 26. YWG said his son is 26 and said that there is no racism. That's his generation. I have experienced racism in all facets of life. Work, finding an apartment, at the grocery store. All facets of life. I don't think there isn't a facet of life that I have not experienced racism. And Mary Frances Winters says before she gave this feeling a name, Mary Frances Winters felt it constantly. She called it a dull, droning sound that was always present, and an underlying syndrome of sorts that permeates her very being. It's the exhaustion born of the day-to-day small acts of aggression or small acts of disrespect that a black person endures. The endless need to prove your worth and the constant exposure to news about injustice and violence being inflicted on people who look like you. She called the feeling black fatigue. And though the problem is not of their making, for the sake of their health, black people need to understand and acknowledge the toll of living with racism, said Winters. She's now a diversity and equity consultant, and she's from North Carolina. She said, you have to take care of yourself. Is black fatigue and the exposure to constant acts of racial microaggressions, acts of racism, that has long-lasting effects on your heart, your body? It says it carries serious health implications. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recognizes racism as a threat to public health. On a biological level, structural racism-based stress can lead to long-lasting damage to the body and brain, according to a 2020 American Heart Association report in the journal Circulation. It defined structural racism as the normalization and legitimization of an array of dynamics: historical, cultural, institutional, and interpersonal that routinely advantage white people while producing cumulative and chronic adverse outcomes for people of color. Juggernaut said he's experienced racism in the film industry as well. And I'm going to get into it a little bit later, that now there are white people that are using black fatigue in the sense that they are tired of black people. We'll get to that. But let's continue with this article from the American Heart Association on black fatigue. Don't forget to vote in the poll. Don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like button. Vote the poll. Hit the like button. Vote in the poll. And tonight's poll is: do you believe that black fatigue is a real thing? 38% of people said yes. 62% said no. Well, to the 62% of people that said no, the American Heart Association says yes, it does. That report described how racism harms all historically marginalized groups. Take note, they said historically. It also notes that black adults are more likely to face discrimination and the cumulative effects of racial trauma, but are less likely to receive treatment for their mental health. Can the fatigue of racism drive people crazy? Is black fatigue a cause of the rise of black suicides in America? I don't know if anybody else saw a video, but I saw a video this weekend that hurt me to the core. A man jumped off of Spaghetti Junction overpass in Atlanta on Father's Day. He leaped to his death. I don't think that image that I saw is ever going on Father's Day. What drove this man to leap off of the Spaghetti Junction overpass in Atlanta to his death on Father's Day? Was it black fatigue? Are black people fatigued because we know that nothing will ever be done about racism? Are we fatigued in the fact that at-will hiring is kind of racist? That a company doesn't have to have a reason to let you go. They can let you go for anything. At any time. At will. We can let you go at any time for any reason. We don't have to give you a reason why we let you go. Racism's effect on mental health varies by person, Grievenberg said. But in the wake of George Floyd's murder at the hands of police in 2020, several of her black clients had to take disability leave because of racial trauma triggered not just by what was happening in society, but because they were seeing racism exposed among friends and coworkers. During COVID, she and other black therapists were stretched to their limits as they tried to accommodate everyone who needed their help. Black therapists were stretched to their limits to try to accommodate everyone that needed their help. Then it says Winters, author of the book Black Fatigue. And if you haven't chatted, I've looked the book up. I'm gonna go to the bookstore probably this weekend if I have some extra money, and I'm gonna buy this book. I need to read this book. She emphasizes that the problem lies in the systemic and historical oppression, not the people being oppressed. Being black is not exhausting. She said racism is exhausting. Emotional responses to discrimination can include depression, internalizing stereotypes that say you're deficient, and rage. All of these things can take a heavy toll on mental well-being. So just being a black person can kill you by stress. Just being black, there's a toll on your physical and mental health. Just being black. Just waking up every day is a stressful situation for a lot of black people. Dark Star says stress is meant to kill us. Liebenberg said anger can be particularly corrosive because it's not possible to lash out at all the nameless, faceless people behind a racist system. So the anger takes on this quality that's consuming and unending if you lean into it. Wow. Wow. The effects of being a black person in America can kill you through stress. Why is the American Heart Association writing an article about black fatigue and its effects on your heart, your mental well-being, and all the sorts? Are you fatigued as a black person? And to the white people that are out there, do you believe that there is that race, to the white people that are watching, do you believe that racism and its effects can have a toll on a person's well-being? And I can understand and I can relate to the belief that there's nothing you can do about racism. And sometimes the things that, because you can't lash out at every little thing that happens to you. And having to internalize all that anger and all that inequity can have a debilitating effect on your mental well-being. I'm of the belief that every black person in America should talk to a therapist. We all have trauma. I know I do. Really. There isn't a sector of society that you can hide from racism. Racism is it's like a gorilla on your back. There's no way. There's no way to get away from racism. And when you say things, when people have discussions on racism, usually it turns into lots of what is the word I'm looking for? It turns into gaslighting. It turns into a lot of gaslighting. If there's nothing that can be done about racism, then what can be done about black fatigue other than self-control and having the ability to not be stressed out about it? And that in itself can be stressful. Just the idea of saying, well, I mean, it's just something you got to deal with. Deal with it. How many times can people tell you, just deal with it? I mean, you got to just deal with it. You got to go work. You got to go to work. You got to deal with it. Some people don't want to hear deal with it. Some people don't want to hear deal with it. Now we're going through these situations where Latinos are mad because black people aren't joining the ranks of their immigration protests. It's not our fight. It's not our fight. We're getting gaslighted by Latinos saying that we're not helping them. They don't like us. They don't like us. They don't even like us. Well, some of the women like black. I mean, but they don't even like us. They don't even like us, for the most part. And all this, I have friends that are married to Latinos and married to Mexicans, and I haven't had a chance to talk to them about these situations. But I want to know. I mean, there's no solidarity amongst black people and brown people in LA. The Latinos came into South Central LA and basically ran the black people out of LA, out of South Central. They firebombed black people's houses. Black people walking down the streets, they harassed them until they moved out of the neighborhoods and they took the neighborhoods over. So I don't see where just all this. Exactly, Pretty Tony. Everybody wants to do what black people do, but nobody wants to be black. Nobody likes black people. Pretty Tony, nobody likes black people. And that's another. I was YWG. I understand. And there have been other Spanish-speaking groups of people from Panama, people from Colombia, people from all different Hispanic communities that have just basically been saying that they don't like it. Their people don't like us. As a whole, there are people that do, but as a whole, I mean, they said that Mexican men tell their daughters marry a white man instead of wearing a black man to better the race. To better the race. Right. Paul Mooney, the great Paul Mooney. Everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody really want to be a nigga. I never, until I heard about black fatigue and looked it up, I never knew. I knew that there was a feeling, but I haven't had a chance to look back at the poll again, but black fatigue is a real thing. And it can be debilitating. Mentally, physically. I mean, just the toll of every day being told no. Just when you apply for jobs, no. You try to go get a loan for a house, no. You try to go get a loan for a car, no. Go to the buyer, pay her. Your credit's not good. Credit, people think of the credit rating has been around forever. No. The credit rating didn't start until the 1970s as a way to stop black people from getting credit. Black people were making money in the 70s. Black people were working at factories. They had to put a monkey wrench in there. Every sector of society that black people go into, there's some form of racism that you have to deal with. There's always some form of conforming. There was a time you was black, you couldn't wear dreads to work. You couldn't wear it. Black ladies were getting ridiculed because they were wearing afros to work. They were wearing cornrows to work. In anything that we do, I never really looked at it from a standpoint of it being fatiguing, but it is. It can be. Very. And it can kill you. And I'm not even saying that facetiously. Being black, just being black, can kill you. Just being black can kill you. Think about that. Think about that. You go to the grocery store. It's happened to me plenty of times. You go to the grocery store and there's a person in front of you, and the person that's checking them out is, "Hey, hi, how are you? Is everything going great today? Everything. How was everything in the store?" And then you get up there, "Hey, hello, 6722. How are you today?" "Fine. Let me pay my stuff and get out." I'm microaggressions. Microaggressions. Just little things that just poke at you on a daily basis. Speed traps. Them big old humps that they putting in the streets in the neighborhood. Them big old speed bumps that you got to drive your car over and mess your suspension up on it. They don't have that stuff in other neighborhoods. It'd be like a little rolling hump. You go to other neighborhoods, it's a rolling hump. It's not no jagged big planks, plastic and concrete planks in the middle of the street that you got to drive your car over. I drive in the middle of it. Just think about the things. Just think about the things that are put in place to be a deterrent to you on a daily basis. So I'm saying this, do you all believe that there is a thing such as black fatigue? A debilitating effect brought on by the continuous small acts of aggression, small acts of disrespect a black person endures. The endless need to prove your worth and the constant exposure to news about injustice and violence being inflicted on people who look like you. You ever work for someone and it seemed like their main goal was to make you not look smart? Have you ever worked for someone like that? That their main goal was to egg you and to make you feel like you, because you're college educated. I've gone through this many times. People try to belittle your education. Okay, Score. Think about that, you all. And I'm just point. I don't want nobody to take disrespect about this conversation. I'm just having a conversation and about something that is medically necessary to talk about amongst black people. I mean, some white people, some poor white people might be. I mean, I don't know. We talking about black fatigue tonight. And no disrespect. We talking about black fatigue. But what do y'all think? How do you all feel about this? In the chat, people that are watching. Do you feel that you go through an endless amount of microaggressive racist acts on a daily basis? You right, Scorp. I need my cowboy shirt. I need my poncho too. I need my cowboy shirt and my poncho. Scorp. I need to go back and look at some of these comments. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Share this video out. Subscribe to the page. I want to know what you all feel. Y'all done heard how I feel. I mean, there are so many articles on here. So many articles. So many articles. Now, I talked about it earlier. And this op-ed is on News One. You know what? Hold on. I got about 3 or 4 articles. I'm going to see which one I'm going to use. In regards to this, there's 2 articles. We'll start with the white lady who went viral for saying that she was tired of black people. I'm trying to find this lady right here. I'll just show her. She went viral for basically saying that she complained about being tired of black folks. And basically she did a response piece to someone on TikTok put a video out talking about black fatigue. And basically her response is that black fatigue is basically she said some on social media are turning the term black fatigue on its head after a white woman used it to describe her weariness with all things she calls ghetto. Black fatigue. This is the white lady comment. Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, the entitlement, the victimhood. You all talk about entitlement, but y'all out here upset, downright upset, making laws to prevent people that are not your color from doing anything, from achieving things, from voting. That absolutely sounds like entitlement to me. There was a lady who responded. Y'all believe that y'all deserve everything just because you are unmelanated. Okay, we're getting into some of those comments, but yeah, some people are trying to hijack the term black fatigue. White people were they fatigued too of black people. Score Mama said, I have nothing against white people, but I hate fools. Right. Score said, as black people, we all go through it. We all go through it. But there are people out there, there are people out there that say that there is no racism. Now, we've talked about the lady who, I got another article for y'all. Basically, people are trying to rebrand black fatigue. The misuse of black fatigue. How white rage rebrands itself. And then basically this article goes into a break. It basically says this passage addresses a recent linguistic and cultural phenomenon involving the term black fatigue and its appropriation by white individuals to describe their own discomfort or hostility towards black people. This analysis explores the origins, meanings, and implications of the shift in usage, drawing on historical and psychological context. And basically, this article, he talks about the origins of black fatigue and what the intent of the term was to be, and basically how it's being co-opted and appropriated. And basically, he talks about the historical context of it, and then it just goes into the conclusions of it, that how terms that we use tend to get hijacked, like woke, and now black fatigue, have been rebranded to try to basically be the opposite of what their intended meaning was. So yeah, it's being co-opted and appropriated to basically black fatigue is now what some people are terming how white rage has been rebranded. Can going through racist actions on a daily basis and basically the accumulation of them have an effect on you as a person? Do we believe that? Or have some of us just have thick skin where it's like deal with? We all have to just deal with it. Some people deal with it in other ways. YWG said they try to circumvent our words and try to make it mean something else. Have you ever had to call into work because you were just mentally drained? Is that what meant? mental health days. Some companies now give you mental health days. Mental health days. Mental health days. I think as Black people, we really, really need to take a look at how we deal and how we manage our mental health. Because there's lots of things that go on a daily basis that I've never, and I'm saying that I've never been to a therapist. But now that I don't know, do I have anger in me because of everything that I go through on a daily basis? Laura Wise, fatigue is real for Black people. Our community gets tired of microaggressions and constant societal gaslighting. Yeah, constantly. Constantly. Microaggressions be wild, though. Microaggressions be wild. My homie just told me today, he was walking down the street. Why'd you have to go to therapy? Why'd the court make you go to therapy, Score? So my homeboy said he was walking down the street today and he saw an older white gentleman, I guess, and she was walking with, he thought it was her daughter. So he said as he walked by him, he heard one of them say something about black something. So he turned around and said he looked. And he said when he turned around and looked, that the older gentleman that was with his daughter, like pointed at his daughter and said, "You shouldn't have said that." And he said he just looked at him and just kept walking. The constant bombardment, microaggressions. Mental health days lets you know oh no, Scorp. Oh no, Scorp. Don't say that. Don't say that, Scorp. I'm not even gonna post that. Mental health days are a real thing. I'm asking this to I'm asking this to everybody in the chat. What can be done about black fatigue? Because and the reason I ask what can be done about black fatigue is because racism ain't going nowhere. So is it about coping with it? What can be done to alleviate black fatigue? What can be done to alleviate the effects of black fatigue when we know that racism isn't going anywhere? I mean, that's a serious question. All white people ain't racist. All white people ain't racist. So we're saying that we're saying this knowing that all white people aren't racist. But what can be done to cope with something that the mechanism that brought it forth ain't going nowhere? Laura Wise said therapy. Everybody needs some. People need coping tools to help themselves because you can only control yourself. So is therapy the only thing that can help us in terms of somebody's outside shooting? Oh well, back to the show. What can be done other than therapy? What can be done about black fatigue? Now that we believe it's a real thing, let me go back and look at the poll. 12 votes, 50% believe black fatigue is a real thing, 50% believe it's not a real thing. So it's 6 votes to 6 votes. We got people that believe black fatigue is real. We got people that believe black fatigue is not real. That's the therapy that gets you put in jail, though. D. Payne said the only fatigue he get is from too much sun or not enough sleep. You ain't on that time. We got enough going on for me to knock another minority. We struggle enough as it is. All of us as minorities get hated. Yeah. What's going on, D. Payne? Black fatigue. We're coming up on 1 hour into the show. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. And all the new people, subscribe to the page. We do this every day. Monday through Friday. Some days, some days, y'all know how it is. But Monday through Friday, we have good conversations, adult conversations. And we would love for you all to join in. We'd love for y'all to join in tonight and tell us what your thoughts are on black fatigue. Shouts out to everybody watching on Facebook. Leave some comments. Leave some comments to my people on Facebook watching. Leave some comments. How do you all feel about black fatigue? We've had people say that therapy is a way to cope, to deal with black fatigue. And I'm asking, is there anything else? Is there any other form of another mechanism of coping other than therapy for a situation that isn't going to change? No, I didn't say nobody was avoiding therapy. Dark Star said therapy with exercise and stress reduction programs at work. Laura Wise said, why are we avoiding therapy? tools are important, and having a black therapist who can relate is even deeper to the issues. You can't decentralize therapy and mental health. No, I'm not decentralizing it. I'm just saying, are there other ways? Because everybody's not going to go to a therapist. Everybody's not going to go lay on the couch. Everybody's not going to do that. So I'm saying, are there other ways other than laying on the couch that you can cope or deal with this? There aren't self-medication. YWG said working from home has helped him a lot. Working from home. They're trying to take working from home away. They want everybody back in the office. These office buildings, people, the office buildings, companies are leaving the office buildings. Nobody is downtown. The restaurants and the food places down in the cities, in the business districts aren't making any money. So they got to get these people back into the office. They got to get these people back into the office. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm still here though. But they got to get these people back into the office. So they trying to end that health and welfare of working from home. They're trying to end that. Wow, YWG said, get a voodoo doll. He said, get a voodoo doll. I don't know about that one. Y'all wild. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Get a voodoo doll? I don't know about that one, man. Exercise. Exercise is always a good way to burn off energy. If you mad, if you mad, exercise, walking. I'll be honest. I've had situations where somebody's microaggressions almost got the best of me, and I would have to leave and go take a break and walk around the block a couple times. I've been in those types of situations. So yeah, black fatigue is a real thing. That a lot of, like I said, anybody over 25, because this new generation is different. They don't think there's no racism. What's going on, my brother Hurt? People under 25 think that there's no racism, but black fatigue is a real thing. Waking up every day, going to work, not knowing if somebody's going to fire you, if it's the way black fatigue. Y'all wild. Y'all trip. They talking about voodoo dolls and spells. Come on now, y'all, for real. For real. For real. We've said that the best way to deal with black fatigue is therapy. But like I said, everybody's not gonna lay on the couch. So what support groups? Do we need to create support groups for dealing? I mean, I'm asking y'all this because I'm serious about this. After I've done the research and read these articles, and now that I understand that the cumulative effect of everything that goes on a daily basis affects me to the point where it can cause me to have high blood pressure, have a bad heart. I'm serious about this. I'm not trying to joke. No, I ain't funny. I'm not trying to belittle therapy, but therapy can't be the end all and be all. There has to be, because everyone isn't going to sit on the couch, lay on the couch. Everybody's not going to do it. So are there? We know that's the best way. Talking to someone about your issues is the best way. Scorp, see, Scorp said a pint of liquor. That's what we didn't want. Scorp, you wild. But uh, and Scorp, I'm glad. You know what I said that, Scorp, but I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm glad you pointed it out, Scorp, because lots of people self-medicate to not deal with the stresses of daily life. And we know that black fatigue is going to be a large component of that in terms of black people. D-Pain said, see, D-Pain, D-Pain the youngster of the MA family. He the wild. He said, I'm just here to get educated. I know what I go through, like Ms. Laura said, a lot of microaggression and gaslighting or getting overlooked despite hard work, dedication, and being punctual. I'm glad, D-Pain, thank you for that, D-Pain. I think, I think everybody, I think all black people go through microaggressions on a daily basis. But yeah, support groups. What's another way that we can cope with black fatigue? We got therapy, we got support groups. Juggernaut said therapy only works if the person wants to get better. I think this type of therapy is going to be a type of therapy that's going to teach you how to deal with microaggressions on a daily basis. But I also think having support groups where you can go and you can talk about these things. Because I think a lot of this stuff we internalize. A lot of the stuff that happens to us on a daily basis throughout the day, we internalize all that. And I think that support groups where you can talk about these things, where you can get them off your chest, I think that will go up. I think that's also a good way to start. I think that would be good as well. Man, somebody said just a pint. Y'all wow. Y'all wow. What are we gonna do? Those faces, and I picked this picture because all those faces show fatigue. Well, y'all wow. Boxing Fridays? Well, y'all wow. But yeah, is that why companies are now giving employees mental health days? Because they know the workforce is fatigued, especially the black workforce? Scorp says she like to hit people. Scorp, you a wild one. Exercise and extra PTO. Do you all think that do health and wellness programs at work really help? Does that stuff really help? And I'm asking you all because I'm impartial because I work in HR. So I want to know what you all feel. Because when I tell people I'm in HR, they go, oh, you the police. Nah, I'm just HR. I'm the cool HR dude. Laura Wise said, I think a lot of black people are depressed, but it shows up differently in our community. Awareness of what these things are helps us identify problems and seek solutions. I really think that support groups will be a good thing because I think these support groups will be filled up. D Payne said, I just want to get the same opportunities that white collars, but I think you mean white people, get the same 5-star treatment, the same politeness, all that. All that. And we're having this conversation because racism ain't going nowhere. Regardless to the fact that this generation thinks that there is no racism, racism ain't going nowhere. Racism is like apple pie. Yeah, racism is American like apple pie. It ain't going nowhere. You're always going to have racist people because racism is taught. And there's always going to be people that teach hate. There's always going to be people that teach hate. Because that's the only way a 3-year-old white kid would know, nigger. I've been called the N-word many, many times by non-melanated people. Many times. Laura Wise, thank you for coming through. Thank you for interjecting. You always add good talking points, Laura Wise. I'm sorry you got to leave so early because you a night owl, but okay, Laura Wise. We had an hour and 15 minutes into the show. Hit the like button. Talking too fast. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the page. Share this video out. Everybody needs to see this video. And you know, I'm your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTubers. So yeah, share this video out. Yeah, I'm your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. Share my video out. Hit that like button. Subscribe to my page. I'm trying to grow the MA family. We're gonna grow. It's growing. It's growing daily. I'm getting subscribers daily. People looking at subscribe because we're going to have adult conversations. Y'all wow. Right. D Payne said nowadays they ain't gotta be derogatory to be racist. You can see it in the way they treat. Yeah. A score. I'm happy somebody like looking at me. But I'm about to, y'all know, this hair on my face. This is the longest I ever had some hair on my face. I don't know how much longer it's gonna last. Cause yeah, this goatee is I like having a baby face. This ain't no baby face with this goatee on my face. So yeah, get y'all's last looks at this goatee, this hair on my face. Cause yeah, it's gonna be gone next week. Darkstar says she did a 4-week presentation on bullying in the workplace, mental health, stress at the holidays, and recognizing workplace fatigue. Boss thought she was wasting time. No, no, no. D Payne said, I can empathize and sympathize. I know none of you guys need it, especially some I call it, but even now more than ever, I understand the struggles, a small bit of what y'all went through. Hey man, D Payne, man, D Payne, you D Payne, man, you good with me, brother. You good with me, brother. You get invited to the cookout, man. You get invited to the cookout, D Payne. This too. But yeah, we're talking about black fatigue tonight, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna read the definition of black fatigue again. Black fatigue, which was defined by Mary Frances Winters. She has a book by the same title, Black Fatigue. Check it out. Amazon, bookstores, you can find this book. And basically, she defines black fatigue as repeated variations of stress that result in extreme exhaustion and cause mental, physical, and spiritual maladies passed down from generation to generation. This phrase encompasses black people's collective fatigue. Can can black fatigue be passed from generation to generation? Can black fatigue be passed from generation to generation? Because if anything, I got two sets of learnings. I got the way my father dealt with racism, and I got the way my mother dealt with racism. Now, I use both tactics. Dad's tactics is reserved for certain situations. Mom's tactics, use them on a daily basis. Yeah, I've seen my dad do some wild things. I saw my dad. My dad has passed. And I saw my dad do some wild things in my youth. And we're not going to speak on those things, but just know I saw some things and how he dealt with certain situations. And the way he dealt with certain situations was a lot different than how my mom dealt with it. Mom was like, just let it roll off of you. You know you. My mother was more of the building you up when, Mama, this white boy called me a nigga today. My mother would build me up and reassure me that there was nothing wrong with being black and things of that nature. And my father was like, "Nah, show 'em." But collectively, there's a feeling of fatigue by black people. I mean, I know I get fatigued by it. I know I do. I know I do. because I don't mind using myself as an example. My last job, I was there for 3.5 years. Every year that I was there, even though I managed a team of recruiters and I had other duties other than recruitment, 3 years in a row, I was the number one recruiter. And it wasn't just the people, it wasn't that I was just filling jobs. I was filling jobs with people that were very valuable to organizations. YWG can attest to that. Me and YWG met when we were working at a company together. There are people that I hired for the company that YWG worked for that they still work there 15 years later. All the companies I work for, I don't just put, but I went to school as my undergrad degree is in social research, so I'm a people watcher. I know verbal cues and yes, I know how to read people. That's what I went to school for. So I was always, in all the years I worked there, I got raises, I got performance bonuses. Just out of nowhere, funny stuff started happening. Little microaggressions, little stuff to try to break you down mentally, and it couldn't happen. And lots of times when people that use microaggressions, when the microaggressions don't work, they get more angry than you because whatever microaggression they were trying to use didn't work. And especially when you know you're good at something and you're a born leader, but you never get the chance to lead. And it's like it's a given that, it's not going to happen. So be content in being an overpaid grunt. That's what middle managers are. They're paying you a little bit more to make some numbers meet. You're an overpaid grunt. That can be mentally debilitating. Knowing, like D-Pain said, knowing all the hard work you put in to something and to not get recognized or shit, sometimes to get let go. The stress of going to work for at-will companies, not knowing that you can go to work today and they can let you go for nothing. Just think about that. You can put hard work in at an organization and they can let you go for it. They don't have to give you a reason they let you go. But you're supposed to be loyal. You're supposed to give them a 2-week notice. And if they don't give you a notice when they let you go, but if you don't give them a notice that you're leaving, then you can't use them as a reference. Think about that. They don't give you a 2-week notice when they let you go. They fire you on the spot. You're right. Listen, come on, I got this box for you. We're gonna box your stuff out. We're gonna box your stuff up, and we're gonna embarrass you and walk you out. Think about that. I ain't never walk out with no box. Never. Dark Star, I got two family members who have lupus. I have two family members who, and it's an autoimmune disease. Isn't it caused by stress? I'm gonna have to look lupus up. I'm ignorant to the facts of. I know about lupus, but I do not know the causes of it and things of that nature. But I know that it is debilitating. I have two cousins that have it, and yeah. So I'm gonna have to do some research on that because I am ignorant to the facts of lupus, what brings it on, and things of that nature. So I do know that, yeah, it does affect black women. Juggernaut said, as black people, there is so much that we deal with and also put out into this world. We also have to hold ourselves accountable for causing fatigue on each other. Good one, Jude. Good one. Good one. Yeah, at will states are crazy. Most states are at will. And basically, that's what Donald Trump was trying, is what he's doing to the federal. Basically, Donald Trump is trying to make federal jobs at will positions where you can be let go for anything. Now, right now in the federal government, you can't just be fired. They can't just fire you. There's processes and steps that have to go through in order for you to be fired in federal government. That's why President Trump had Elon Musk and Doge go through and look at all the programs and all this stuff to lay people off and circumvent the federal termination process. This is all strategic. It was strategically done. Like I said in the video that I did about the 106,000 black women that lost their jobs in the month of April. That was done purposely. 106,000 people in one population group don't lose their jobs unless it's willful. It's planned. That was strategized. And the people, the black women that got laid off, this tells you how it was strategic, because all those black women got laid off at the end of the fourth quarter. End of the first quarter. I'm sorry. All those, yeah. I know there was a lot of black fatigue in. Oh, okay. Okay. So, we've talked about black fatigue tonight. As we come up on the hour and a half, hit the like button. And we've talked about black fatigue. We've talked about the causes of black fatigue. We've talked about examples of what creates black fatigue. We talked about coping mechanisms and things that you can do to help alleviate black fatigue, which we talked about therapy. And for the people that don't want to go to a therapist, we talked about support groups. I think there needs to be support groups created because, like I said, internalizing all these microaggressions that people go through, and just internalizing everything, because we've already said that you cannot fight every battle. Every racist microaggression that you come across on a daily basis, you can't fight it. So all this stuff is internalized. So support groups would places where you would be able to vent. I think everybody needs to vent on a daily basis. Venting is good because if you can talk and get it out of your system, that's half the battle of being less stressful. I think support groups will be good because, like I said, everybody's not open to going and laying on the couch. Everybody's not going to do that. Everybody's not doing that. But we have to come up with strategies of coping with black fatigue. There have to be strategies of self-control, breathing techniques, things of stress relievers. Because all of this black fatigue, it all is centered around stress, the buildup of stress. Because racism isn't going anywhere. Covert racism isn't going anywhere. Institutional racism isn't going anywhere. Environmental racism isn't going anywhere. Isn't going anywhere. So we have to come up with strategies and coping mechanisms to deal with these types of things. Because your mental health, as well as your physical health, are very important. I would say that black fatigue is probably one of the main causes of dementia in older black folks. That the cumulative effects of racism have driven them mad. Could black fatigue be a precursor to dementia in black people? I ask these open-ended questions all the time because I ask these questions to make y'all think. Because we got to think what strategies we can utilize to not have a society of black people going crazy. And crazy is a bad word to use. So I apologize to anybody out there that sees the word crazy as being derogatory. I shouldn't have used that word. People that have mental deficiencies brought on by, like Mary Frances Winter said, repeated variations of stress that result in extreme exhaustion and cause mental, physical, and spiritual maladies passed down from generation to generation. Some stuff you just gotta laugh at. And I say this all the time. Some stuff you just let it, it's funny. Because you look at it like if I look at it like if that's your win for the day, man, you won. If you doing whatever little bitty thing you did to do something to get some angst out of me, if that's your win for the day, man, have it. And some of that stuff you just have to laugh at. But some stuff you can't just laugh at. Deadline on TikTok. I haven't heard anything about that. But we also talked about the hijacking of the word black fatigue, because now some white people are using the term black fatigue to say that basically they're tired of all things black, all things ghetto, and basically they've hijacked that word like woke, or they're trying to. There are people that are trying to hijack black fatigue and change the meaning of it. Are you a victim of microaggressions? Have the microaggressions had a cumulative effect on you where you have high blood pressure, stress? I think support groups will help because, like I said, these are some things that some black people deal with on a daily basis. On a daily basis. Work, public, in the car, at a baseball game, at a basketball game. These types of things happen daily. It happens subconsciously. But we got to talk about these things. If the American Heart Association is putting out articles about black fatigue, it's a real thing. And they talk about the effects that it has on your physical and mental well-being, and all this stuff is stress related. All this stuff is stress related. So, there are some people that are saying the definition of black fatigue is racist. Reverse racist. It's racist against white people to have a term called black fatigue. More gaslighting. More gaslighting. More gaslighting. What y'all think? What y'all think? Can the lasting effects of black fatigue be reversed? Or is black fatigue something that once it starts, there's no stopping it? But the thing about that is, as a black person, can you really You can't get away from racism in some form or fashion on a daily basis. So yeah, it can be fatiguing knowing that you get up tomorrow, somebody gonna do something racist towards me. That's a crazy life to lead. But that's what being black in America is. Every day somebody looks at somebody and stereotypes you. Hi, Lydia. Good morning. Well, good evening. Good morning to you. Thanks, Lydia. Thanks for joining us. Lydia, we're talking about black fatigue and how the cumulative effects of racism and microaggressions that black people deal with on a daily basis affect us mentally and physically, our mental and physical well-being, to the point that black fatigue can be debilitating. So that's what we've been talking about tonight, Lydia. Juggernaut said, the hate of another person's color has risen back to normal levels in this country. Lydia, thank you for joining us. We hope you join again. Every night, well, every morning for you. Where are you at, Lydia? Lydia, where are you watching from? Is black fatigue a worldwide phenomenon? Or is black fatigue something that is purely American? Are black people the holders of black fatigue? Or is this something that is worldwide? What do y'all think? Is black fatigue just an American phenomenon, or is it a worldwide phenomenon? Are black people in other countries subjected to the same things that we are subjected here in the West? Is black fatigue an American thing? Or is this something that all melanated people go through? I think some minorities get it bad, but nobody gets it as bad as black people. Now, that's just my personal beliefs. I'm pretty sure that there are people of other nationalities that have racist things happen to them, and they probably feel like their people are treated the worst. But I think it's safe to say that it's generally known that black people in America are probably some of the worst, were, still are, in some capacities, the least desired minority. You know what? Let's ask ChatGPT. That may be a question that ChatGPT won't answer. ChatGPT. Hello?
Hey there, how's it going?
Good. So, ChatGPT, can you tell me in the United States of America, what is the least desirable minority group?
I'm here to provide support and accurate information. It's important to approach discussions about race and ethnicity with respect and sensitivity. If you have any questions about social issues or need assistance with
ChatGPT can change. You used to be able to, I'll just look it up on the internet. What is the least desirable minority group? Here we go. A majority of the Pew Research Center. Majority of Americans see at least some discrimination against Black, Hispanic, and Asian people in the United States. Large shares of Americans say that there is at least some discrimination against several groups in the United States, including 80% who say there is a lot of or some discrimination against Black people. 80%. 76% who say that Hispanic people are the most discriminated against. And 70% who see, well, 70% of the people surveyed say that Asian people go through some form of discrimination. 76% say that Hispanic people go through, but 80% say that a lot of Black people go through some form of discrimination. Nearly half of Americans say Black people face a lot of discrimination in society today. So yeah, least desirable. Least desirable. Black fatigue is a real thing, just as racism is a real thing. And these microaggressions and the cumulative effect of these microaggressions are having a negative effect on Black people in America. We don't know if this is something, I haven't read anything that says that this is a worldwide thing. Most of the articles and the research information I read spoke directly to America, Blacks in America. So I'm not for sure if Black fatigue is a phenomena that's worldwide or if it's something that is just beholden to the United States. But I'm going to do further research on this because I'm very, very interested because I want to learn. Does this make me like holding this stuff in? What does it do to me? So now there's just rabbit holes that I'm about to go down because I really want to know the root and the coping mechanisms. Because, you can ignore a lot of stuff. And like I said, when you're ignoring something, you're internalizing it. But at some point, the bottle fills up. And I want to figure out ways to cope with black fatigue before my bottle fills up. Because it is a constant bombardment on a daily basis. And nobody is exempt. No black person is exempt from racism. You see it every day. Rich people, you black. A lot of people call it it's the black wake-up card. People that think that they are exempt from racism, they get a black wake-up call. Why is it that some people have to get a wake-up call and they think that they're exempt? I mean, and that lets me know that everybody's probably not dealing with black fatigue. Are there black people that are exempt from black fatigue? Was black fatigue the reason that Obama went from had a head full of black hair to being totally gray by the time he got out of office? Could black fatigue be a part of that? And we know that there were lots of people that voted, when he was trying to get stuff passed. I mean, and like I've already said that, I don't believe that Obama did a whole lot for black people. But even though he didn't do a whole lot for black people, there were still people that did demeaning things to him. Even the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, was not exempt from racism. I want to know if President Obama had a feeling of black fatigue by the time he left out of presidential office. But I think it's the Queen King said her girlfriend was having anxiety. Queen King, but do you think that those anxiety attacks were brought on by black fatigue? Like you said, some people are internalizing the weight of the world. Yeah. The thought of nobody empathizing with you, that can be hurt. Some coworkers who don't care, and that's too, yeah. Yeah. It's real. Black fatigue is real. Feeling of you doing your job and just think about those people just think about the people that were let go by Doge. And they made up reasons to let these people go. They made up reasons. They used Doge to circumvent the federal termination process and to get rid of people like it was an at-will state. YWG said he got to be black to be fatigued. You wild, YWG, man. But yeah, I would say that there is a lot of black fatigue. Doge caused a lot of black fatigue. Queen Kima said, "Hell yeah, Obama had black fatigue." They said, "Who? I didn't hate him. I didn't hate him, Queen Kima. I didn't hate him. Now I loved Obama. I just said he didn't do nothing. He could have. There's a lot more he could have done. But I don't have nothing against Obama. He just didn't do a lot. But he did got a lot of good stuff, but he didn't do a lot of good stuff for black people. He did the stuff that he did was good for everybody, but he didn't go in there and And we talked about Queen Kima said it's legal in the federal government to take a mental break. Queen Kima, I'm gonna ask you, do you believe black fatigue is a real thing? And I'm asking you that. I'm going back to the poll. The poll is still 50-50. Queen Kima, do you believe that black fatigue is a real thing? Do you? I know. I think I already know Queen Kima's answer to that. If she believes in black fatigue, pretty. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Queen Kima, yeah, she believes in black fatigue. And those mental, they say mental health day, and the thing about it is, the mental health days that they give, a lot of companies they don't count them against your PTO. It's mental health days, and then a lot of people don't know the FMLA process. A lot of you can, yeah, I think I may have to do, yeah, things that people don't know that they can do at work. I might have to do a show on that to give y'all some pointers on what you can do at your job. Queen Kima said, "Blacks, not personally. What could he really do for blacks without being labeled to do it for the label doing it for the blacks?" That had to be. Now I will say this: that had to be draining on him. And then the thing about it is, if he did try to do something for black people, they would have just vetoed it. They would have thought it wouldn't have got voted in, and he had to do an executive order. So I mean, people say that he did. We say that he didn't do a lot, but could he have done more? He could have tried, but they probably would have blocked everything that he tried to do. But yeah, I would say that President Obama's level of black fatigue was a crazy level. Was a crazy level. Oh, Queen Kim said yes, she believes that black fatigue is a real thing. As she mentioned, her girlfriend is currently dealing with it now. Oh, this was today, and she had an anxiety. Wow. Yeah, Trump is doing all that he can for his constituents. For sure. Trump is doing everything for Queen Kima said Trump is a white dude. He can do for his people and not get no pushback. Juggernaut said black people need to separate and get our own like we were doing before. So let me ask you this, Jug. Okay. Well, this is gonna be we're gonna let me ask you this, Jug. Do you believe in segregation? Do you believe in segregation? Because what I'm hearing you say is, wow, okay. Jug said it's like the governor of Maryland voted no for the study for reparations. Okay, Juggernaut said yes, he does believe in segregating. A lot of people say that segregating would be a good thing for black people. There are a lot of proponents for segregating, but where are we going to segregate to? That's why where are we going to segregate to? Dang. Caitlin Clark had a scrap in her game tonight. I'm going to have to go look at that video. Caitlin Clark scrapping? Okay. Yeah, the WNBA start having some fights. People might start watching. They start having some fights in the games. People might start watching. Juggernaut said segregation was a good thing. Jug said they always show up and burn something down. YWG said Wes is a clown. Queen Kima, I agree with Jug. Just seen the clip. Muhammad Ali and MLK. The reporter asked, what was the discussion? They said basically mind your business. Yeah, let's get back to woo, 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 woo. Too late. Too many mixed race families. That was the plan as advertised in your face daily. Ooh. It's a deep comment right there, Queen King. It's a deep comment right there. It was a plan. A plan to weaken the blood. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Just throwing stuff out there. Woo. This is a deep discussion. We're gonna have to continue this discussion tomorrow. Tomorrow may be Black Fatigue Part 2. We're gonna have to continue this discussion because now we're getting into some other things. Like what Jug said, segregation today would be on a totally different level. I can't end. It's 2 hours, but I can't end it. What would be the different level in terms of segregation today, Jug? Y'all asking these questions. Y'all can't get tired of me now. We got to finish this. Yeah, we got to continue this discussion right here. Jug, you say segregation today would be on a totally different level. Please explain that level to me. I'm all ears. Yeah, we can't end the show. I can't even end the show right now. We gotta discuss this. So are you saying that segregation, if black people had the option to segregate right now, do you think people would take that offer? And like I said, if black people were to segregate, where are they gonna work to where? Segregate to where? Where are they gonna segregate to? That's my question. That's my question. Juggernaut said, allowing black business to keep and control banks, real estate, and the flow of currency in our neighborhoods. Yeah, again, where, or is this going to be some annexed land that the government's going to? And I'm asking, or is this going to be a pooling of resources to go out and buy lots of land and then have black people move there? How would this be done? And then Queen Kima says, so yes, I agree in a thriving black nation. She also believes it's too late. However, there are still black towns thriving. Example, Gullah Geechee towns. She said that the rise of mixed race families was to weaken the black blood. Queen Kingman, you more than welcome to come up here because yeah, we can't end the show. We cannot end the show where this discussion is going. We don't Judge said we don't have to leave or move. So so basically you're just saying segregating from the the consumer aspect of the United States. What are you talking about segregating? Because if you're segregating, you're gonna take your people and you're gonna go somewhere and segregate yourself. So if you're not leaving or going to another area together, what type of segregation are we talking about? I always wondered that myself. And there's a Chinatown in there's a Chinatown in DC. I tell you one place ain't no Chinatown. Ain't no Chinatown in Cincinnati. Ain't no Chinatown in Northern Kentucky. It's not even no Chinese restaurants in Northern Kentucky. Ain't no place in Northern Kentucky where I can go get me some fried rice, shrimp fried rice. There are no, let me repeat that. I don't know one Chinese restaurant in the area where I live. Not one. There is no Chinatown in Cincinnati, and there is no Chinatown. There's no Chinatown in Louisville. There's no China. Yeah, ain't no Chinatowns in Kentucky. Ain't no Chinatowns in Ohio either. Now, I can't speak for Cleveland, but yeah, it was kind of when I first moved back to this area from Washington D.C. It was kind of weird because I couldn't find a Chinese restaurant to get some fried rice. There are none here. Okay, we have Blacktown. Well, We need to come up with a list of all the black towns and black cities where black people can move to and be amongst like-minded people. If this is if we're talking about segregating and yeah, where are these black towns? Where are these black towns where black people are thriving and more black people can move there? So basically, you're saying a self-segregation to places where black people are already thriving is I'm with you. I'm trying to. Juggernaut said, actually, there are no all black towns. So if it's not an all, I mean, are there going to be some white people that segregate with the black people? If there's a segregation effort in the United States of America, are you going to have white people and are there going to be black people that are going to be like, no, y'all can't come with us? But a high population of mine. Okay. I mean, I hear you, Jug. I'm not sure if that can be done in America at this point. I'm not sure you can segregate. I mean, I'm not sure you can really segregate. I don't really see that as for one thing, America's not gonna let that happen. America's not gonna let that happen. I mean, I understand that too. I understand that thought pattern too. So basically, you say, what do you say to the people that say, let's go to Africa? Don't go to Africa. Would going to Africa be like starting over? Okay, I can relate to that to the person that sent me that message. But yeah, we're gonna continue this conversation. Hit that like button on the way out. Hit that like button. Share this video out. Subscribe to the page. We had a really, really deep conversation tonight about black fatigue. It's a real thing. It can be mentally and physically debilitating because of the microaggressions and the overt racism that black people deal with on a daily basis in all facets of society. It's to the point now where a lot of people are just don't care no more. The prospects of America ever being a racist-free country is slim and none. And that can be mentally and physically debilitating to people that know that, sometimes your hard work goes overlooked. Somebody's always trying to demean you, belittle you, stereotype you. And Mary Frances Winters talks about these things in her book, Black Fatigue. I'll be buying it this weekend. We might have to do a book club and everybody read this book, and then we have a discussion on it. We'll talk about that. It's time to do some different things. We're gonna start reading books, having discussions on them. So if anybody out there got a book that they think will be a good first book for us to collectively read and discuss, man, give me some ideas. Yeah, people are doing that, Queen Kingdom, but Khalees is getting some pushback now. We as Black people got to start thinking about solutions from a collective, communal point of view. And support groups to talk about Black fatigue could be a good start. Could be a good start. Everybody just,
Lab Addicts Music Group.
that's all people want, is to be equal and have the same opportunities as everybody. Sometimes it can be mentally draining all the hard work that you do. But you just have to do it. Black fatigue is a real thing. We're going to continue to talk about it, talk about the effects of it, and to talk about ways to cope with it. Hope I said something tonight that make you research on Black fatigue. Hopefully I said something. Pause. Think different. It's boy Maas. See y'all tomorrow.
Lab Addicts Music Group.